Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. Let's meet your hosts, Chris Angel and Michael Maher.
3, 2. Hey everybody, this is Michael J. Maher. Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Referrals Podcast, where we talk about sales, business, cold calling, door knocking, hating on people, hunting, killing, grinding. No, I'm just kidding. You know what we talk about? We talk about referrals and how to go from having relationships to getting referrals. Today's episode is how to get referrals with virtual assistants. And if you're not using a virtual assistant, Referco is outfitted with virtual assistants. Our company is basically mostly virtual. So bottom line is we have the expert, listen, I mean the with capital THE, and it took me forever to get this guy onto this podcast. So it's like, finally, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the guy in the virtual assistant world, the virtual professional, the professional of virtual professionals himself, Daniel Ramsey. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you for having me, Michael. I love being here, and I love what you guys do on this podcast.
Well, thank you very much. And I love what you've done to save so many people time. You know, you can leverage three things, right? People, systems, and technology. And the one that people tend to have the most difficulty with is leveraging people, you know? So first of all, let's just start basics. I know this is almost insulting to you, right? But let's start with, what is a virtual assistant? Like, You know, what is a virtual assistant?
Well, and the easy explanation is, in the US, a Coke costs $2. That same soft drink anywhere else in the world is 25 to 50 cents. And so a virtual assistant is just leveraging technology, like we're on a Zoom call right now, to have somebody help you grow and scale your business in another world or in another country where the cost of living, just quite frankly, is 25 to 15% of what it costs to live here in the US. And that speak perfect English, that are educated, that are motivated, that really, really care about you and your business and helping you to succeed. So a virtual assistant is just somebody who's not physically in your office, and they can help you grow and scale your business. We like to say a blended model, where some of your salespeople are in-house and some of your folks are, in our case, in the Philippines.
I love it. And that was one of the big concerns for a long time, was that, you know, how is the English? You know, how is the language? You know, we have these stories back when IBM had their service personnel, and they would call and it was broken English, and you never got anything done. And oh my gosh, have we come a long way since then, you know?
Yeah.
So honestly, this is not like a list of questions that we had for you, but I know you're the expert, so I'm just going to ask anything. Is like, what happened to improve that English? And I have to tell you, I've talked to several of your virtual assistants, and some of our clients are using your virtual assistants. And, you know, if they wouldn't have told me that they were in the Philippines, I wouldn't even know. I would have thought, oh my gosh, you're from Kansas, you know?
Yeah.
So what has happened to really improve the quality, you know, of that virtual assistant?
Well, there's a couple things to know. I mean, first of all, IBM outsourced to India, and India is historically broken English, challenging, and there's multiple different countries out there. I mean, China's starting to outsource, Vietnam is starting to outsource. But the reason we're in the Philippines is because from kindergarten all the way to college, they speak in English. The street signs are English. The medical journal they're in English. You know, they learn both Filipino and English in schools. So, you know, what's changed for us is that we've hyper focused on the value of the conversation and the ability to both, you know, text and email and write and speak as one of our primary kind of win cards. When we find somebody who has great English skills, most of the time we can teach them anything else. And that connecting and that bonding with somebody and being able to build rapport over the phone or through text or through a messaging platform, like those are the skills that are hard to, I mean, when you find that, that's gold.
Well, like anybody. I mean, whether you're hiring American or virtual assistant in anywhere else. I mean, those talents of being super nice, great customer service skills, great phone skills, there's rare and the problem is most people confine their job hunt or their job search or their personnel or talent search to a geographic area, and they're limiting themselves. Plus, they're probably paying too much. So
Yeah.
what are the secrets to hiring a virtual assistant, or like what do we need to do differently with maybe a virtual assistant that we don't necessarily maybe have to do it there in-house?
Yeah, I love that question, and I was just talking to a speaker, author, coach, kind of somebody like you.
Wait, what? You're talking to other speaker, author, coaches? I thought I was the only one. I mean, come on. I got a hotel room for you. I mean, by the way, those of you that are watching this on YouTube, the background normally is this great green screen background. But today, it is Fairfield's best. It is a Fairfield hotel background. And I will tell you, and if the sound quality isn't quite as good, I just want you to know it's my fault because I am on the internet connection of the Fairfield. But so you were actually speaking to another speaker, author, coach. I won't hold it against you all that much, but please tell me about that conversation and how it didn't go as well as this one will.
Well, no, but there's only two in the world, you and this gal. And what was cool about the conversation is I was helping her consider what she could do to create that blended model. And she has a very successful speaking business, author in Forbes and all these other places. I always love speaking to you guys because you're always in the media all the time. And well, in her case, she has a team and they're doing a lot of the repetitive stuff, posting in social, messaging. I mean, the speaker is still managing their own calendar. That's something that you gave up a long, long time ago. And so what I help them think through is what are all the things that you're doing every single day, and what are the things that actually drive revenue in your business? What are the things that really make an impact or change things? And, we went through a list and there was like 20 things that this team was doing that literally took up half their day every single day. And none of it drove revenue. None of it was driving referrals. None of it was connecting with clients or booking really good speaking events. So what we have to do is we have to think, what can I do to double my business right now? What do I have to do to shift my business and double it? And then what do I have to give away in my day so that I can focus on doing that? And so that's step number one. What do I need to give away? Step number two is what systems do I have to have? Like what tech platforms? We're on a Zoom call. You need to have a way to communicate. You need to have a way for them to text. You need to have a phone system for them to call so they can't, and you use that same system to train them. That's another upgrade. I mean, I was sharing with her the play, pause, do methodology that we have. So every time you do a task, you just record the screen and then you talk through the how, what, and why. And now you have a training manual that's virtual, that's a recorded video. So those are some of the things that make a big impact.
I have to tell you what, first of all, making someone, or the people that are listening to this or watching this, they need to make a checklist of the things that don't drive revenue. Literally write out, like when you're in real estate, you write down the processes of a transaction, like what needs to be done. And it's amazing how few of those don't need to be done, or how few of those have to be done by us, and how many of them can be done by someone else. And I think, to speak to all the entrepreneurs, we're not just speaking to realtors and lenders today, is that to all the entrepreneurs is that, you get paid to get things done. You don't get paid to do them. And that's such a big mindset shift for a lot of people, is they think to get things done, they have to do it themselves. But the fact of the matter is no, you get paid to get things done, but not to do them. You need to figure out what other people can do for you, either through your influence or through hiring them. And guess what? That more things will get done with you not doing them. In fact, I have a message for all of them. And this is the message I gave to Toral. We're going to talk about Toral Chauffeur White here in a second, is the who is not you. right? The who is not you. So literally write down whatever you need to do today. And then right next to it, the who is not you, the who is not me. Like who else could do that like every day? And that leads to this guy, like right here, right? Daniel Ramsey is, you know what? There's somebody he has who can not only do that better than you, but faster than you and cheaper than you. So, you know, I'm not here to listen. He didn't pay anything to be on here, and I didn't pay him to be on here, though I probably should have. But the thing is that, you know, leverage is something in itself, but leveraging to great people who are inexpensive is a whole nother planet, you know. And so let's talk about Toro, right? So one of my favorite subjects, and you know what, one of Toro's favorite subjects for my podcast is Toro. So I talk about Toro Show for White a lot, and she's in Washington, and she actually referred Daniel to me for this podcast. Now we've known each other for a long time. We've climbed mountains together. We've done some cool things, and it was like, she's like, you got to get Daniel on, and I'm like, okay, so that's good enough for me. So Toro, when she started, was like hadn't gotten any referrals. She was doing it the old school way with like postcards and other stuff. And she also had all in-house people, right? So fast forward, 7 years later, she got 276 referrals last year and made $22,500 on her events. That's profit before she got the referrals. And then now, where is she on her business, Daniel? It's okay to brag right here, right? I mean, tell us about that transformation, right?
Well, what she's realized, and I love using her also as a great poster child, is the salespeople, the license, the brain, the folks that drive revenue, those have to be in your office. And I like saying, do what only you can do. Like there are things that only I can do, that only Michael can do, like this conversation. I can't hire a salesperson to understand all these different things and like speak in this, but I can have them serve our clients. And by the way, I can help them. They can go to conferences, right? So you do the things that only you can do. And that's what Toro realized inside of her business. And she went from having, you know, a couple salespeople to now it's I think it's over 15 last time I saw the roster. And, you know, they're all licensed people and they're all supported by our virtual assistants. They're all of the paperwork, all of the marketing postings, all of the stuff, the administrative, the calendars, the appointment setting, the phone, the traffic, you know, all the phone work, all of that is done by virtual assistants. But loving on the clients, that's the part that never gets outsourced. That's the part that she and her team really focus on to drive revenue.
And today is about how to get more referrals or how to get referrals using virtual professionals. And that's it, right? Is you're going to leverage all the non-relationship building, referral generating activities, and you're going to do the relationship building, referral generating activities. And that's what Toro does. Toro does the listing appointments, the buyer appointment. She does, and then she does the events, and she does the one-on-ones, and she does the handwritten notes. So she's focusing on the relationships and has other people focusing on the task that those relationships create. When you get a referral, it creates a bunch of work. Yeah. Well, what do? You can either get more referrals and delegate all the work, or you get a referral and all of a sudden you got to do the work. So what happens is you're not doing the relationship building stuff, so the referrals go away. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to work on this task. And then all of a sudden you're in the age-old roller coaster of this business. Well, how do you get consistency in your business? You hire a virtual professional. It's like this. It's like, you know, way back in the time, people hunted buffalo, right? And, you know, they hunted buffalo and you go and you hunt a buffalo. Well, the hunter of the buffalo didn't skin it, clean it, cut it up, and get it ready for, no, they had everybody else who was doing that. You know why? So the hunter could keep going out and hunting, and that's right. And that's the same thing. We have to do the same thing. We need to focus on what, you know. Don't become so busy doing the things that got you busy that you quit doing what got you busy.
Working by referral is not some fairy tale world. It's real. I've seen it. And you can too. Invest in yourself by learning how to run your business by referral at Michael's upcoming live event. It will be a day filled with hands-on, how-to, low to no-cost strategies that you can implement in your business right away. Learn how to run a business by referral that not only feeds your family, but feeds your soul. Go to www.gengenevents.com today. That's www.gengenevents.com.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Well, and you know, it's interesting because you said events. We host events across the country all the time, and the reality is we leverage our virtual assistants because while we'll put together the meetup, we'll put together an evite, we'll get the venue and do all that work. You know, there's a big deal if somebody picks up the phone and just says, "Hey, I'm calling on behalf of Daniel. He asked me to personally invite you to dinner or to the mastermind or to the get together that we're having." And, you know, the reality is in our case, we have thousands of clients. So there's no way for our US staff to do that. We have to have virtual professionals out there helping us organize these events. And that is exactly how we help other businesses create these events. You know, the invite, the initial phone call, you know, the traffic of like, where are we getting together again?
Right.
You know,
RSVP organization, right? RSVP coordination, and who's invited, who is RSVP'd, who's confirmed, and where do they go, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, to be frank, you know, you send out an invite, you never know if somebody actually got the email unless you pick up the phone and call them. And then when they don't have it, or then they go, "Oh yeah, I saw that, but I didn't read it." And you're like, "Whoa, okay, well, Daniel would love to see you there." And that's the kind of stuff. I mean, we just hosted a dinner. We were in Nashville last week, and I'm in California, so we're in Nashville, and it was awesome to sit around the table and hear the stories of all these businesses completely transformed because of their virtual assistant. And all that happened because we had people, you know, personally inviting folks to the event.
You know, that reminds me a little bit of a Infusionsoft, and now it's called Keep. They've changed their name to KEAP.
Yeah.
And what was funny is Infusionsoft was a great software, and it was a poor company. And then they started using their CRM. They started using Infusionsoft, and all of a sudden Infusionsoft grew to be this great business. And it's like, for us, like, there's sometimes I'm like, why aren't we using the 7L system here? You know, it's like, you know, when we started using the 7L system, all of a sudden our business exploded on the speaker author training business. And it's like you're saying I mean, I'm sure there was a time where you're like, you're looking to hire and you're like, why aren't we using a virtual assistant here? You know, your business exploded when you started leveraging virtual assistants. So you've seen it firsthand and lived it firsthand. I have to tell you about, like, Toral on hers too is like, I take a lot of pride in my PowerPoints and my design and the content. And so I do my own PowerPoints, and I get them all, and I do the graphic and all. And then Toral, who is not a speaker author training, though she is a certified referral trainer and does speak and train on this, but this is my profession, right? She shows up at one of my events. Her PowerPoint blows mine away. And I mean, the graphics are beautiful. And it's like, who did that? And she goes, my virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so what am I thinking? I'm like, what? You know, I spent all this time on this, you know, and it's just like, there was a virtual assistant for everything.
Yeah. Well, and here, you know, what's interesting is, as an entrepreneur, if you're listening right now and you own a business and you're thinking about like, oh yeah, me too, there's an element of control that you have to surrender. You've got to do this virtual thing, you've got to kind of give up a little bit of the control and also describe the end state. You know, if you have a checklist of tasks, and at the bottom you look at it, but we did all the things, but it didn't end up the way I wanted it. Like I closed the transaction, but I never got a referral. Like, the reality is you didn't describe why you're doing the task and what emotion needs to be in that task, right? So you can do something and just kind of do it, or you can do something with like emotion and feeling, and the other person can feel appreciated. So I think that is a space that people screw up in the virtual world, is you have to have an outcome, like an end state with a result described, and not just a task list when you're working virtual. And that is a subtle leadership thing that some people you learn over time, or you can just think about it up front and not screw it up.
You've seen it like when you go to a restaurant or a fast food restaurant. There's people who take your order and they just take your order. And then there are those that are like smiling and suggesting things, and like they are totally listening to your order, and they are making it an experience versus just a task. And, Chick-fil-A hires for that. A client of ours, Chick-fil-A, is great at, if they're going to be on the curb, right, doing the order, they're a special person. They're trained for that. They're smiling, they're bubbly, they're naturally happy and friendly. And guess what? It makes the entire experience better. And it's the same way that you're talking about is it's not just the how or the what, it's that why and that energy and emotion around it that, we're not laying brick, we're building a cathedral for people to pray and celebrate. Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think there's another piece to this. I mean, people are like, oh, the most downloaded thing in the business world is like, oh, what scripts do you use? What do you say? And I'm like, dude, throw that away and just serve the people on the other side of the phone. And if you're talking to them, they have a need, find out what that is and see if you can help them with it. It's wild to me how many people are like, well, what's the best new script that you put together? That's crazy. And so about 600 of our virtual assistants are on the phone in one way or another, just driving love, referrals, business, answering and serving people. And the biggest thing that I can just suggest to people is like, just love on your people. Like love on them,
Yeah. And whether they're virtual or not. Right. I mean, if just love on everybody, I mean, then you're just conquered. Right. And, especially love your haters. That's what I love right now. I love my haters. It's just like, you know what? Thank you for the inspiration to keep going, keep showing up, keep making things happen. I'm going to love you to death. Right.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. So I'll tell you what, I mean, you have a giveaway for us that is phenomenal. The download for today's episode. Tell us about the download for today's. I mean, it's a freaking book. Seriously?
Yeah. So it's interesting because I didn't find myself. I'm not an author. Like it's hard for me to put a sentence together. Like I'm much more visual and interactive and people based. But our clients were having the same success. Like whether it was Toro on the West Coast and another client on the East Coast, and they were having the same level of kind of success. And then we'd have folks who were missing the boat and saying, oh, we're really challenged and, oh, I don't know how to do this. And so what we did is we just took 12 years of heart, my love, my soul, everything that we've learned in the business and put it into a book. So if you're listening right now, you can actually get it. I don't know if we're going to text code it away or whatever, but
referralspodcast.com.
Okay. So it's on the, go to the link right there below on the show.
That's right.
And check it out. You get a copy of it for free. And literally,
that's amazing.
Even if you're not thinking about hiring a virtual assistant, there's some just plain simple leadership, how to build an office, what a process and system looks like, because we were just having challenges with some clients and we wanted to give them a guide and a tool to use.
You're going to get everybody that's listening to this right now. You can go to referralspodcast.com as a gift from Daniel Ramsey and the Referrals Podcast team. You are going to get Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals by Daniel Ramsey. That's a phenomenal download, the entire ebook. And, Daniel, first and foremost, I don't want to leave you just yet. I want to go into like the steps to hire, Okay. And then before we go into that though, give your information for those that are, we have a lot of like straight to the point bottom liners who are like, all right, I know I want one. How do I get one? So what we're going to do is you just tell them where to go, and then we'll take like the first 3 or 4 steps of bringing on a virtual assistant, and then we'll call it a show. How that?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Look, if you're listening and you want to explore, what I would do is just go on our website. It's myoutdesk.com, MYOUTDESK.com. Request a consultation. I mean, literally. Last month, I think we told a couple hundred people, hey, you're not ready. I know that sounds weird, but we also onboarded, I think, 75 new virtual assistants for business owners across the US. We got a bed manufacturer. We got a boat broker. We have insurance. I mean, we have all kinds of
I have to tell you, you just said that. I have a referral for you. Literally,
okay.
after the show, I have somebody in the fitness space that needs a virtual professional, and I'm not even joking. I love that you just said that in the fitness space, you've got these people doing that. That's awesome. So,
well, here's the thing. What we do is talent. So when you request a consultation, we'll walk you through like how we work and what makes sense, and you're going to share with us your need, because you have to have a need for this to work, right? People who are exploring will be happy to give you a copy of the book and meet with you. But if you're growing, what we do is we help businesses instantly scale. Like literally, today is a Friday. On Monday, you could interview. Tuesday, you could have somebody in your office helping you grow your business. And that's what we do, is fast, talent.
That's what I love about you being in the business so long, is that everything happens faster on your end. You now know, like somebody described their need, you have 10 people lined up to fill that need. Whereas, I mean, that's saving them time already. You got to do the app, you got to do the job description, you got to get the ads out there, you got to check Indeed or whatever, all the different places. Then you got to interview them. And then you've got to pick one and tell the others no, which is always not fun, right. And you've done all that for them already. And that's just getting started, right? Well, I mean, they could start on Tuesday.
Yeah. So in Nashville, we were just at this conference, and it was crazy because one of our clients at the dinner table, she was like, I need help and I need this X, Y, and Z. And we started talking, and it's a franchise. And I'm like, we can help you with that. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And literally I was like, hey, we need to add this person on my cell phone. And then the next day she was interviewing, like literally the next day. And so, and she's gone without a person for like 4 weeks, and she was 90 days out to getting any relief. And this is a huge company. They make millions of dollars, and she just needed help right now. And so we were able to fill that for her real fast. In fact, I think she onboarded today, her person.
That's beautiful. And I truly believe that in many cases, a virtual assistant or a virtual professional should be your first hire, because I'm going to tell you from experience and from coaching 10,000 plus people is that you're going to screw it up, right? Yeah. It's not going to be the virtual assistant or your new assistant who's going to screw up. It's going to be your leadership, your management that you screw up. Well, here's the thing, screw up where it's really cheap, right? So screw up where the accident doesn't kill you, And the other thing is hire now, because the first hire may not be the one, not from their case, but from where you are as a leader, so you need to learn how to manage people. Well, you're not going to do that by not having people to manage. So manage people. And the fourth person, you're going to manage and lead so much better than the first one. And who can tell you that from experience is me. I'm a far better leader and manager than not perfect, but far better now because I've managed 100 plus people over time,
right. That's right.
So so that should happen. So
well, let me add something to that, because I'm going to just cap this. I screwed it up too, and I remember losing talent who was really awesome, and I lost them because of I just didn't have that skill set, and I lost some that I didn't care, that's okay, but I also lost some that were like phenomenal because of who I was. Yeah. And so you nailed it, man. And any CEO, their number one challenge that they have is talent, and that's what we do. So if you are running a business and you need talent, you have to just have a consultation with us. It's free. It just costs you a little bit of time, and we'll find out if we're a fit or not.
Yeah. So what's the first step is the consultation. Let's say they know that they need one. You say, you know what, you are probably ready for one. And then what's the next step? How do we get somebody by Tuesday kind of deal?
You know what? So real businesses have this, which is an org chart.
Yep.
This is just a friend of mine, his business, and they happen to be one of our larger clients. But so number one, who's on your team always matters, whether you're 20 people or 200. So we always start with an org chart, who's on your team. Then we look at how you generate revenue. Hopefully you're generating revenue by referrals and through, connections with people. And then we look at what you're doing. So I'm not making any of this up. I just did a consultation for this company, and literally They showed me how they generated revenue. We saw who was on their org chart. Then we looked at all the things that they did as an organization. And then we structurally said, okay, we can serve you here. We can serve you here. We can't serve you there, and we can't serve you there, but we could talk about this one. So we found, 3 opportunities in a 30-minute consultation, and they actually needed the help because here's what's happening. They were having people get burnt out. They were having people struggle. They lost a couple people, and here they are. They doubled their client base. Like they literally doubled their client base, and so all their people are pulling their hair out, and we're like, we'll help you by next week.
Love it. And, salespeople are not great at paperwork.
No.
So what do you want your salespeople to do? You want them to generate revenue, not do paperwork, not do tasks, not even do customer service. No. You need somebody else doing the customer service. And that's that virtual professional angle.
We're just not. So I'm a sales guy. I'm not interested after I close the deal. I got him. After I got them, man, somebody else should serve them because
that's right.
It's gonna require that I get organized and do steps and details, and that's just not who I am.
It's not you.
But if I can bag them and somebody else can tag them, dice them up, and serve them, that's my world. Yeah. I just got Michael to laugh out loud. There you go.
Yeah. Yep. So the bag 'em and tag 'em reference, right?
Right. So, that's it.
Yeah. So is this an episode of Dexter? I'm just saying, right?
I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? Is so everybody who listens to this, you can go to referralspodcast.com. You can get the ebook, Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals by Daniel Ramsey. I highly recommend you got to make it happen. Take the first step today. Just go there, download the ebook, read through it, or better yet, just go to myoutdesk.com and sign up for a consultation, right? Figure it out and have them answer the questions for you. And it may be a couple of days to get on, but then you could have somebody helping you within a week. And right off the bat, you're leveraging, you're scaling, you're getting more referrals because you're building better relationships. And I'll tell you, this is a fast-paced, powerful episode. And I know that this is going to be one of the most downloaded because this is one of the most needed things in the business world, not just real estate industry, everywhere. I'm seeing it everywhere. I mean, we're helping so many different businesses now, and it is amazing how much help they need on the back end, the back office, the structural, the foundational people. So.
Yep. Thanks for having me, Michael. This has been amazing.
Yeah, this is Daniel Ramsey of My Outdesk, and go out to myoutdesk.com, schedule the consultation, and you can go to referralspodcast.com and download the free ebook, Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to get more referrals with virtual professionals with Daniel Ramsey, and I'm your host of the Referrals Podcast, Michael Maher, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.